Tim Howard, Stephen Warnock here in the studio with me. Stephen, it would be very tempting for Erik ten Hag and Manchester United to use the Bruno Fernandes sending off as a reason why they lost this game. But the truth is what?
Well, the first 40 minutes simply weren't good enough either. The work rate, the application of the players, not good enough going into the game. And we saw a Tottenham team more committed, more organised in the way that they play, understanding what the manager's asking them to do. Listen, let's not get away from Tottenham are chaotic when they play, but we know that, we expect that. But that's the way they play. What do United do? We're still asking the questions. Those pictures of the fans sum everything up. That sums up the mentality of almost, or it sums up the reflection of what Manchester United players are at the moment. What's going on? Where's the direction from the players, from the manager? Where's the direction from the staff? Which way are we going as a club? There's so many questions to be asked.
Tottenham are chaotic, but so fun to watch, and we can't get away from the credit that is due to Ange Postecoglou and his men, and we'll hear from Postecoglou. We'll also hear from Erik ten Hag. These are some pictures from earlier on in the game when the Manchester United fans were already leaving their seats. Tim, I have to ask you the question. Why did they keep Erik ten Hag?
Well, my initial thought was they did a review, right? And I think they probably came out with, on balance, he needs a bit more time. That's fine. The big issue for me is they doubled down on it. We touched on it. They doubled down on it. They backed him. He's brought in more of his own players. When you look at this squad, it's not a brilliant squad. They spent a lot of money. You said it. They spent a lot of money on some average players, certainly not Manchester United players. So that then made me scratch my head and think, well, if you get rid of him, you almost have to sort of dismantle this team that he's created. So the question you asked me, I'm not actually sure why they did it. Maybe it was financial reasons. Maybe they didn't want to get rid of him, or they didn't have the right person in place to replace him. Or maybe they truly believed he was the right person, but I'm not sure that this looks that way.
The interesting thing as well is he was given the opportunity to change his backroom staff in the summer. So he's done that, and he's got out, obviously, Steve McLaren, Benny McCarthy was part of that staff as well. And he's brought in a new set of staff. We're not seeing any more ideas come to the fruition here. We're going, now I can see why you made them changes. I can understand what you did there. Nothing, again, adds up. So he's on borrowed time. There's no two ways about it. And this is disappointing. He will, however, get away with a lot tonight because of the sending off. And people will go, yeah, but at half-time he could have made positive changes. But because of that sending off, and it probably wasn't a sending off, it takes away from it a bit. So it's not a sackable performance? I still feel he's very lucky to be in a job. And I felt that at the end of last season. They caught Man City on an off day. I think they play better against the bigger teams, against the so-called bigger teams, if you like. But when it goes to the lesser teams, they massively struggle in games. I mean, I have to be honest, during that second half, the gentlemen here were actually looking at the odds, were you not, for who right now is the favourite to take over at Manchester United. Who's on the list, Stephen? Well, we've got Gareth Southgate. He's the odds-on favourite to pretty much take the seat. Then you've got Thomas Tuchel, who's part of that, who's out of a job. So cheap option for Manchester United. Good. I mean, we've seen what you can do in the past with Paris Saint-Germain and Borussia Dortmund, and obviously Chelsea winning the Champions League. He is an experienced manager. He is an outstanding manager as well. Does he come with a little bit too much baggage? Does Gareth Southgate suit the way that Manchester United want to move forward? But I'm still not convinced on Gareth. On somebody like Gareth Southgate, you talk about these players, they're very much Erik ten Hag's players. Yeah. Take Erik ten Hag out of it, are they good enough players to be playing better? Or is this just their level? Yeah, they're good enough players to be playing better, because I think you see around the Premier League, there are some teams playing brilliant football that are set up by young managers in a way to play where these Manchester United players are far better than them. They're far better than the Brighton players who play a really nice style, as an example. I mean, Ruud van Nistelrooy is there as the backroom staff who we brought in. He's a good coach. He understands some of these players. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him at some point this season taking over for Manchester United. We'll see. Marcus Rashford, shadow of his former self. That to me is, maybe it's off-field issues, there's something behind the scenes, but that looks to me like a breakdown in a relationship between him and the manager, where he's just almost like, I don't believe in this guy, he doesn't believe in me. It just doesn't feel right in that respect. But I slightly disagree with Tim in that. I don't think the quality's there, but I think you would see an upturn in quality but I don't think they're a team that can win a Premier League or challenge for the top 4.
With this team. OK, let's take you back to Jim Beglin and to John Champion, our commentary team at Old Trafford. I've got to say it again, massive credit to Tottenham, of course, a brilliant performance. But when it's Manchester United losing 3-0 at home, chaps, that's going to be the top line.
Yeah, everything is magnified because of the sheer profile and the size of Manchester United on the global stage. And you and I have both been coming here to broadcast for longer than we care to remember, 3 decades plus. This, to me, feels a bit like the dying days of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer regime all over again.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, if it carries on like that, I think Erik ten Hag will be gone before Christmas. But the one thing, I don't think they got the meaning of the game and the importance of this step coming up against good opposition. I know Tottenham hadn't had the greatest start, but it's picking up for them now. And yet we're watching a team that just seemed to be off the pace. They didn't seem to be alert and alive to what Tottenham were bringing to things right from the start. And I find that amazing. And I mean, you called it, John, because you held up the programme and the fact that Ten Hag said nothing less than 100%. We didn't get it. We got nothing like it.
And is that purely at the door of the manager, or do the players have to own up and take some responsibility for that?
Of course, it's always a bit of both. But I just wonder whether some of the players at times, and you don't want to have this in your team, the shirt's too big for them. Whether they're feeling that pressure, and it's just a little, because of the immensity of this club and its history, that it's all just a little too much. And yeah, I think that is affecting some.
Yeah, Spurs fans across the US are shouting, screaming at their screen at the moment, saying, Jim Beglin, say something positive about our Tottenham today.
Tottenham were great. Tottenham did everything they could have wanted to do. This was a dream performance for Ange Postecoglou to watch. They gave him everything. They had the passion. It's not just about tactics at times. There's an awful lot of attributes involved in what you need to bring, and I think Tottenham had most of those today.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.